Welcome to TTBoy TV. Today our special guest is a good friend of mine, a 30-year veteran in the adult business, one of the smoothest talkers, slickest dressers, and the greatest black performer in the history of the porn business. A living legend. Please welcome Shawn Michaels. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, my brother, and that's quite an introduction there. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the first time I met you. I said, "This is a smooth ass motherfucker." But let's not go ahead of our step.
Right.
I want to start from the beginning. So, if you don't mind, I would like to start way, way back, when and where you were born.
Yeah. Right. Born in Brooklyn, New York, in 1958, and basically grew up in Brooklyn and the surrounding cities of the five boroughs. Spent some time in the South in the summer on occasion because we had a aunt that had a farm in Lafayette, Alabama. So got to experience some of the country life as a kid too, to mix in with the city life, which was good balance because growing up in any one place all your life is you wanna have as much experience in getting out there as you can. So
How was Alabama?
interesting.
Country girls, right?
country, but good country, because I mean it's like they say, people are the same wherever you go. You just got to get a chance to get to know them. After we got to learn how the local kids operate, and we went out there for a few summers back to back. It got to be fun, and you got to learn a whole different style of living, country living, which is cool.
Compared to Brooklyn, I mean, how was it in Brooklyn? 1958, you were born, you said?
1958. So I was going out there, and I was 10, so 68, 70. I was going to Alabama, and other places in the South because we had some family throughout the South, Atlanta, and so it was good to have that exposure to, Southern hospitality. Slower, much slower, but don't let the smooth taste fool you, because just because they're slow doesn't mean that they're not paying attention.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they are.
Yeah. I mean, Brooklyn. Now we're talking. Brooklyn is New York. We're talking Brooklyn is the place.
Brooklyn is the place, and the thing is, it still is, as much as it's become a somewhat gentrified, like in most places in our country, but it still has a lot of East Coast character. And a lot of potential growth in Brooklyn, Queens, and surrounding boroughs.
So tell me about when you were a kid. You're growing up in Brooklyn. For me, when I think of Brooklyn, my father was in Brownsville. Grew up in Brownsville, or stayed there.
Right.
Rough hood. Tyson grew up there. So I always think of. He told me it was pretty rough. Brownsville, Brooklyn's supposed to be rough.
It was, especially back in those days. Like you had gangs, you just had, city life to deal with. And if you weren't wise and tough enough to deal with it, smart enough to deal with it, you got, chewed up and spit out kind of. But you live and learn, and it just gets better and easier once you grow up in a place that's always, you got to always be paying attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it. It's good in a way because it puts you on point for everything else in life, I think. Yeah, so the toughness definitely comes into play, and it's mostly mental toughness too, because you just got to prepare yourself to do a certain amount of, and it's how you look at it too, because it's mental. You're dealing with a big city life, but having been able to go to a place that's slower, like in the South, and just hang out there for a minute, taught you how to to breathe for a second. Hey, wait a minute. This is not too much to get excited about when things would happen in the city when I come back. I would be thinking like, okay, just chill out and kind of let this be what it is and then deal with it, but don't let the city life freak you out because there's so many people and it's so fast and it's so much going on. But it again prepared me for all the other travels that I had, and some with you out of this country as well. So, yeah.
Would you say that Brooklyn was a boarding school for the streets, get you ready for the real world?
For sure, it really is a school of hard knocks. Growing up in the '60s and '70s, really.
Mob is still there, right?
Mob, everything's still there. But just more flagrant. Just more out there in your face, and you just had to, again, deal with it and kind of, because I have, 3 sisters that are younger than me. I was helping raise them, and it was interesting, but we got it done, and they got a certain toughness about them too, growing up in the city that that suits them well to today. So it's a good school of hard knocks.
So you're the only son.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your parents?
Yeah, well, don't really know that much about my dad because I never really got to know him that well, which a lot of people have had that happen, I'm sure. But so I can't really say too much about him. But my mom was a strong lady in a lot of senses of the word, and smart lady, and loved us, and did the best she could to give us the opportunities that she never had in life, working hard, trying to just be there all the time for us when she could.
So she had to take care of you and your sisters?
Yeah, she just had to take care of me and my 3 sisters.
Financially?
Financially.
So it was hard?
Hard for her, yeah, because just being a single black mother, especially in a place like, Brooklyn, it's just kind of tough. But, you're smart, and you put that to use in your workplace or whatever you're doing, because she also had a singing career early on before she had any kids, so she was still dabbling in that.
Oh, really?
Once she, she had us, she would still every now and then just test it, market, and just keep her vocal pipes kind of ready to go.
Any hits that we might know?
I'm sure there were like a couple, but like mostly known on it because she didn't really spread nationally. She was mostly known on the East Coast. But I got to research that for you because there's a couple that my sister told me about. Yeah, we talk about it.
It's Motown time, right? Yeah, man, that's some of the best music I ever heard.
Still to this day, that people are still sampling Motown.
Yeah.
Because you just don't get those sounds anymore anywhere else.
I saw that Motown special with Barry Gordy and Smokey Robinson. It was unbelievable. Very inspirational.
It's an interesting country we live in, but again, you just gotta put your thinking cap on and know that everything revolves around you how you deal with stuff and who you associate yourself with and how that's applied to what you're trying to do.
The way you carry yourself all these years, I totally would have thought you came from a rich family. You have such great manners, your etiquette, the way you dress, everything. Your mother did a hell of a job, really.
I know she did, because I still kind of live by some of the things she's taught me on just how to treat other people in general. So that's really suited me well for the business too, because I still have people from years and years ago that seek me out to say thank you because they're in a position where they're doing well, and they were like, hey, it's important that you were nice to me and kind of helped me along the way, because everybody's nervous in this business when you're doing scenes, because it's just a thing where any entertainer is nervous before they do any kind of performance. It's just natural. So, but to get that entertainer to relax and to enjoy the moment, to be in the moment, is a different thing.
Was your mother your only role model, or did you have someone else?
Yeah, I'd say my grandmother was my other role model because she really anchored things for our family. So I saw two strong women figures that were just as strong as any male figures that I knew. Uh, one uncle that's still I'm really close to. Um, but I learned that you don't necessarily have to be male or female. You just need to have the knowledge on how to deal with life and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Because it's tough sometimes.
Your mom still alive?
No, she passed away about what's this? About 2.5 years ago now.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Yeah, you remember she used to cook for us a little bit on set and do craft services.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, back in the day.
I mean, way back.
Mm-hmm.
Way back.
Way back.
So, you definitely have a way with yourself. You definitely have a way with women. I guess you got that from your mom. But did she ever spoil you with presents or extra love? Or
No, because I think that she made a point of not doing that because, she mentioned other mothers doing that to their sons, and she just didn't think that was, especially not having a dad around to spoil you. She supported me, whenever I ever endeavors I had, like playing football, and she'd come to my games and stuff like that back in New York and in Brooklyn. But she was always showing like tough love, which was good.
wow, really?
Yeah.
What about your sisters? Do they get tough love or?
Yeah.
Same?
Yeah. We all got the same, and it's even better because it's woman to woman. When it was my mother and my sisters, going at it and really building a foundation for character for the future.
I met two of your sisters.
Mm-hmm. You
Yeah, I
met
know.
Gail and Anita, and possibly Gail or Sharon, because they both came out here at one point.
Yeah, the apartment back on Fountain, right? Something like right there.
Oh yeah, Fountain. Yeah, that was my sister Anita.
I thought
Because
you
she did sales for me later when I had my distribution, and then I had a sister Sharon that came out for a while.
the smaller one.
Yeah.
Sharon, right? We had a little dialogue. That was great. That's all.
Yeah,
But I was young, you know what I mean?
I remember that now. That's right.
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Shay.
how was school back in Brooklyn? Kind of tough, rough?
It was a little difficult because we moved a couple times, and so I was in probably two different school districts throughout like elementary school. So it was having to get used to go to one school, go there for a year or two, and then transfer to another school because we moved across town or whatever. So I was kind of glad. It was a good experience going to high school because I played football and kind of had the high school experience, and that's a good experience to have because I think sports is important. And I've always said that it's a good icebreaker and barrier breaker when it comes to skin color and religion and all that stuff. If you care about football or basketball, baseball, or martial arts, you care about it. It doesn't matter where you're from. You just enjoy it. So that's kind of what sports really did for me in high school, and still does for me today to just get away from the craziness.
A good common bond
Yeah,
with people, yeah.
yeah, and to know that they're a lot of the sports industry supports the adult industry is also cool to know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I had these romantic ideas. My family's from New York, Brooklyn, and Bronx. I have these ideas that, trouble gets going, let's put them up. Fighting. Did you have a lot of fights? You have any, trouble, any squabbles?
It was interesting early on that way because you did have challenges from other kids in the school, but not too many people particularly in school, would mess with me. They would always mess with a friend of mine because they were just different looking or whatever, and I would therefore get involved in not letting them, beat down on them and stuff like that. So that was my role, kind of. And once someone tried to bully me once, a dude on our football team, he was just, dude, what are you doing? You're I get it, you're good back and all this stuff, but I mean, you don't know who you're talking to right now, and I'm not a tough guy, but you need to not try that with me because it's not going to be pretty. Because I mean, that's just is it. My mom always taught me to let people know that, hey, I mean, if you have the time to give them fair warning, don't go there because it's not good. So it's just interesting because that always made me think about people who are bullies and how honestly how weak-minded they are to be bullying people in general just because you think you can, and honestly a lot of times bullies make the wrong mistake because they mess with people who, like they said, don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah. Or the smooth taste by because it's just I can't stand. That's one of the things I despise are bullies who mess with people because they can or because for no reason whatsoever. It's just mindless. And so kind of like you there, then I kind of like, okay, now you had your warning and now it's a different story. So I get in trouble that way. I wouldn't get in trouble. And my sisters would also start things with other, and sometimes they wouldn't always start it. It would just happen. It was always, well, I'll see you after school at 3.
I like the movie 3 O'Clock High. I love that movie.
Okay, I'll see you. And then we go out there and we'd have it out. And, sometimes I get a little beat up here and there, but they always knew that they were going to be in a good fight. And my sisters were like the instigators of it. After a while, I was like, dude, what are you guys doing, Uh-huh. And because it was like 2 of them, the baby sister Sharon hadn't come up yet. And so it was like Anita, and Anita was like one of the most encouraging people, in my opinion, just to to keep shit going all the time. I'm like, what are you doing? Who what? Why even are you hanging with these people? So that's where it became like, okay, I needed to get away from my sisters because I was just growing out of them. I was just growing out of that whole because that was bullshit. That the things they were getting in fights over lunches and nonsense, and. But you can't let somebody beat up on your family or anybody that you're hanging out with just because they think they can. And because again, these people like today, most of these people are just minding their own business. They get on Twitter, you get on social media, and they just start railing on people they don't even know. And I'm like, how can you even say things like that? You don't even know these people.
I mean, I bet you $1 million that these people online, the no bully people, the advocates of no bully online are being the biggest bullies. Starting trouble. Mental and emotional distress is the worst.
You got social media. You can just say anything and do and kind of put yourself out there that way. But I'm like, okay, I tell you before, I like Twitter primarily because it gives you the ability to promote yourself like you want and to connect with people that you want. Whereas the other platforms out there, social media, are just kind of a little bit too intrusive of your privacy.
Yeah, I never see you make trouble or anything like that. So basically, you just got to always defend yourself. And who wants to make trouble? Stupid anyways. So were there wars in the school? I mean, any crazy action?
Yeah, it was a lot of like gang-related stuff, which was, in itself just something of the neighborhood and just people getting into
Those goddamn Puerto Ricans?
Well, it was interesting because it was more about people. It was more about people like, how do you say, it was. Yeah, it was a little bit segregated, but not as much as you'd think, because you'd have a lot of Latino people with Black people, with Jewish people, just kind of like hanging out, doing their thing. I know, it was pretty cool, actually. So it was more about beefs of territory and mostly territorial. You can't come on our turf and do stuff like this. And I was like, but you're a kid, so it's like it's important in high school too, because you just you playing a sport, you travel a little bit, so you get to see a little bit more of the city from an athletic standpoint. But you see how sports does bring every nationality together. And even when I started studying a little martial arts here in California, it was interesting because it was so many people, so many different ages studying martial arts. It was like, whoa, this is cool.
Way different than it used to be.
Yeah, different.
So, I'm always curious about the best fighters in school.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those weird guys. But
that's cool.
It always seems like it's black and Spanish always kind of running the neighborhoods.
Right.
It seems like it.
Right.
But I'm guessing Italian too, or an Irish guy here or there.
Yeah.
Might have been tough enough.
I would definitely say that there was a few guys who weren't black or weren't Latino who were pretty tough. That were it was one guy who was like he was Irish and his family I guess they owned like some bars and stuff, so they would like have these bar fights, and he would tell us about the bar fights, and he would be in there when he was a kid. He was supposed to be in there, but that's just the kind of thing they do in Ireland. Sometimes they get drunk and they fight. So it was cool to meet. That was the thing about my school, because it wasn't as segregated as a lot of schools where you could get to mesh with a lot of different nationalities. So I got to learn what an Irish heritage was a little bit about, and they drink a lot over there because it's so fucking cold, and it's just the women can outdrink some of the dudes, and it's pretty cool. So I found that pretty interesting.
You been there?
And I haven't been to Ireland. It's one of the places I haven't been, but would definitely love to go and check it out just once.
I went there about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Only for a day.
How'd you like it?
I love the people. They just got every time they talk, you're like laughing, you're smiling.
Sure, yeah.
I saw some girls with red hair, and I said, "Wow, that's nice hair,
Right.
really bright hair." It's like, wow, that's so exotic. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the white skin, I like my girls brown, but I like these girls. They're pretty too. So I'm not a hater on girls. I love all the beautiful girls, women, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But okay. So tell me about the sports you played in school.
I loved track, and I loved football primarily, but I played a little basketball too. But the organized basketball I played here in California, but the high school stuff football was back in Boys High in Brooklyn, and I played wide receiver and some punt return and a little DB. I love sports because it showed me how it didn't matter what color you are, what your religion were. If you were a good track person or a good football player or a good basketball player, whatever it is, it was good to know you, and it was good that you were on our team so we could win some shit together. So, playing a lot of sports in high school and Pop Warner was good, and it gave you something to do. It kept you out of trouble because there are a lot of gangs and stuff going on in those days.
Well, this is a prime time, right? Still the 70s,
It's just
right?
beginning, yeah.
So you're just like...
It's like that movie, The Warriors, but then it just...
Think about to play!
and then it just got, it was really like that for a while. There was just these gangs all over. It's like, oh, man.
Really?
That's why I had to do the movie, because it was just like ridiculous. But it became a thing where, the gangs became just more sophisticated, and it was more about just not being as flamboyant with the, getting out there, putting your name out there, tagging shit all the time. But it's more like doing shit on the DL now, so it's cool.
So football, you like football a lot?
I do, just because it's something that I gravitated towards when I was a kid, when I first saw like Joe Namath, and I actually met him once.
Oh, yeah?
And
Cool guy?
very cool. Came over and said hi to me and my buddy at a practice that we went to. We skipped the last two classes of school one day and went to the Shea Stadium, and they were practicing. And he came out and he was tossing the ball around, and the ball came over towards us, and he just came pick it up, and he just say, "Hey guys, how you doing? What's going on?" Da, da, da. It's like Joe Woolley's actually speaking to us. It's cool.
No shit. Huh?
So I mean, that increased football. It was like, I got to play now. So, but I saw like, wow, dude's getting banged up, man. It's like martial arts, man. You get banged up, dude, and so it's like, okay, have something else to. My mom always said this to fall back on too. You love sports, but always get a trade that you could do. So I chose becoming a nurse because I liked the fact that I could help people through, putting on a cast or whatever I would do as a back office duty nurse kind of person. So I did that for.
So yeah, let's go back
years.
to before you became a nurse. I'm interested in what subjects interested you in school.
In high school, definitely was biology was first. Just wanting to know how things in the body, anatomy, worked. So biology was one of my favorite subjects. World history was my next one because I learned about the world, which a lot of kids didn't know a lot of geographical stuff when I was growing up, and I thought that was important to do. So I excelled in those classes, and the other thing I enjoyed was my arts and crafts, believe it or not, because I can draw and paint a little bit. So it's a natural thing for me to do, and those three were my primaries in school that really I was looking forward to going to learn more about.
Did you take drama class or theater?
Theater it was dance actually in high school, dance class that got me into theater because the football coach said you guys can, gain flexibility by going to dance class, and we didn't know what he mean. So yeah, they do stretches and stuff. So, but we, a few guys go into the dance class, and they're like, okay, you guys are going to be in the back, and so there's all these pretty girls in there stretching and doing their thing. God. It was like, whoa, how come we didn't know about this? So it was good because we got to enjoy looking at pretty girls and get a good stretch going too. So
that brings me to a question. I'm sure this happened before, dance class, but when was the first time you saw some pretty girl walk by and you said, what the hell? I mean, like, when is the day you said, I love girls? A lot of people are different type of bloomers.
Mm-hmm.
When was the first day you said you knew you loved a woman?
I was watching a TV show with a lady who was a dancer, and I had seen women before, but I hadn't seen women dancing like this. She was so hot with, a dancer's body, strong legs, nice ass.
In a leotard, maybe.
Leotard. It was nothing.
Fuck, I love those leotards.
I seen leotard, dude. It was like, whoa. She had a leotard on and some heels, and I was like, whoa, okay, now that is exciting. And yeah, that was my first time to really, because I was just watching, and I kept being drawn to shows of dancers.
I love them.
Whoa.
How old were you?
Like 14.
14? Wow, you're a late bloomer.
Yeah, because I was always focusing on sports.
In school?
In school.
Wow. Oh, that's pretty normal age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then it was on. It started.
Which brings me to the next point. Right. What happened then when it was on?
I started to seek out Hustler magazine and other publications that showed beautiful women, Penthouse, Playboy, and it just became a thing because as a kid growing up in the 70s, it was women were starting to blossom too. It was just starting to be more emancipated. And some of the most beautiful women in these magazines, I was just, oh my God. And that's why I got hooked. I was like, whoa, this is beautiful to look at, the naked body. And
Unbelievable.
yeah.
I mean, those days, because it's so
And I wasn't even into porn yet. It was just
Yeah.
naked women.
sacred. It's kind of sacred back then when you're a kid. You look at stuff like, wow, shh, don't tell nobody.
It was
It's not like
sacred.
today.
It was so sacred.
So you're checking out these magazines. When was the first time you got some action?
Ooh, probably, I'm going to have to say 16, 17 years old because, yeah,
Tell me about it.
the babysitter was a
Yeah.
a MILF.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but she was just one of these natural women that had a natural sexuality about her.
Hold on. She was babysitting you?
My sisters.
Oh shit. That's
And,
cool.
yeah, she lived in our building, and it was like so convenient. But she says, listen, she says, look, I know you want some of this.
She said that?
It came out.
What did she
said
look
that.
like?
Just an older, beautiful, in my opinion, beautiful black woman. Just natural, big tits.
She knew what she had.
She knew what she had. That's why she would walk around shaking every fucking thing. I was like,
Ass too, right?
ass for days. And so it was like she'd come in, see the family, babysit, leave, and then my sisters would actually go up to her place and be babysat there. And that's what led me to, she goes, if one of these days, you want to come over and hang out.
Really?
I was like, oh, shit, this is real. This is happening. It's going to go down. So I actually said, hey, I want to come by. And she goes, okay, come on by. I'll give you some of this. And dude, I went by. That was the lesson, the sexual lesson, because I believe she took my cherry that way. Wow. It was the first real woman. I had, got head and this and that from chicks in school or whatever, but this was full on ravaging sex, and for a woman who knew what she wanted, and that she was the teacher. It's always great to have that format where you have a teacher, a woman that's willing to teach like that. That's so hot.
That sounds pretty cool, really.
As a babysitter too, so that whole babysitter thing.
That's kinky. But it's hot, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like,
she was a mother too. That was the other thing, I used to play with the kids. Used to play with my sisters, and it was like, whoa! But the thing that she knew it and she said it, it was just so much hotter.
come and get it. That's great.
Come and get it. She goes, I'll give you some of this.
I'll give you just like that. Those
And
words.
she goes, I know you've been wanting some of this.
Wow. I mean, that's
what
like,
said.
who says that?
Who says that?
Only a real strong ass woman. So that leads you to believe, or the people out there, like, if she's saying that, when she puts it on you, she must have put it on you.
She did. But she also took her time with me. She was like, okay, you need to slow down. You're moving too fast. Yeah, I was like, oh, boy.
Oops, sorry.
And she made sure we had enough time because my sisters went away. Her kids were away. My grandmother was doing her thing, and it was just me and her for hours. So it was pretty cool.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it wasn't like wham, bam, bye, out.
Hours. Your first time. That's beautiful.
And then, of course, I had to go back again.
How many times?
Probably like 3 times. It was cool, yeah.
And then why'd you stop?
Because I think a boyfriend was starting to catch on.
Oh, shit. Really? He's big and strong?
Oh, it's a dude. It's a grown man. I'm a kid. And but he would just come and go. So she knew that. But, like, it was like, yeah. So I think that's why she kind of cooled it, because he was starting to...
She cooled it?
She cooled it, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's like, yeah. So what? She didn't understand. No, because...
So she got you warmed up, huh? So tell me what happened after that. Was it like on a cracking or what?
Well, yeah, it was, because that's where that led me to watching more porn, because I started watching porn in Screw magazine, and then actually having sex with a woman led me to want to see more. So I started watching more porn.
Really? Because hold on, what, you're 16? Mm-hmm. You're saying pretty much 15 or 16?
16, 17.
16, 17. That's like 74, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right around that time.
Yeah.
So it's not so easy to get tons of porn.
No, it was just we had access to the newsstand paper. It wasn't even a magazine at the time. Screw magazine was actually a paper. You remember those? the actual paper.
I think so. I saw it a couple times.
Yeah, but then it went to
Al Goldstein, right, or something like that.
yeah, and then it went to the actual magazine format, which is just a magazine, but the actual paper was like a newspaper.
Oh, so not movies. Not you weren't getting any films.
I didn't, not yet. It came later because then once I got the paper, saw like the layouts and stuff of people shooting scenes, Joey Silvera.
What?
John
shooting?
Leslie.
Oh, shooting like reviews or something.
No, they were these were reviews for movies.
Yeah.
In porn in Hustler, not Hustler, but Screw magazine that were playing in downtown New York. So that led me to actually go to downtown New York and seek out the movies.
Oh, I got you. So the movie reviews say, "Come watch this movie," like a regular release.
Because they were in regular movie houses.
Yeah, yeah, like Pussycat Theater or whatever.
Exactly. Pussycat Theater was the main one, and they had many, many others that were so cool.
So you went down there?
Oh, I had to, dude. That's when, that's when Times Square was Times Square in the beginning, See Taxi Driver.
seedy.
Yeah,
dark.
seedy, dark. And
Dangerous sometimes.
Dangerous sometimes, but it was real. So you go down there, and just like today, sex, not necessarily blatantly over there. They've cleaned it up, but it's still there. Sex for sale and a good time. So, but the places there were just like door to door. You can go watch live sex shows. It was like San Francisco was not too long ago. It was the last bastion of live sex shows. I don't even think you can find them anymore. I mean, you probably can, but it's a little difficult.
Yeah, you think people are so much more open-minded.
Yeah,
but they're not. Strange. Yin and yang. I don't know. Maybe there's only one line that's left. Keeps going like this, but goes straight. I don't know. But that sounds cool. So
it was.
You had this older woman that teaches you to have sex. So she schooled you kind of, huh? She was hot?
She's a little overweight, but that's neither here nor there. It was all real, and she was real. Yeah. So the chemistry was over the top.
So now you got this schooling. You're in school. You're fairly popular. And, you had sex with that woman. Are the girls recognizing it? Are they giving you some action, some play? What's going on? What do you do about it?
Let's put it this way. There's no one that could match the babysitter because for me, the younger girls were cool, and I dated, and I messed around. But after her, everything changed because I became aware that it could be that good. But it can't be that good all the time because everybody's not her. So what do you do in return, in retaliation to that, or just to circumvent that, is you learn more about sex and that it's being shot primarily now. Back in those days in New York, it was a lot of it was being shot in New York. And I just started going to different theaters and watching different scenes, and saw Linda Lovelace, saw Marilyn Chambers, and it was just like, wow, this is pretty cool. And then I started to see that a lot of it was being done in California too. It's like, oh.
So you're in school and these girls can't handle you, or, I mean, you weren't interested in them?
And it kind of progressed as I got older in high school. I mean, so by the time I was a senior, I was dating one girl, but it was more, I was watching more porn too. I was watching more live sex shows.
Wow.
It's interesting because it's like, it's real. You're walking through it. It's kind of seedy, but it's real. And you see other people there enjoying themselves too. Couples, single women, dudes. Like, whoa.
So I'm going to take it this way. The babysitter kind of twisted your mind and got you into porn or into a dark underground sex world, and those young girls couldn't fulfill you?
She did, because she had an aggressiveness that I hadn't seen before in a woman, especially sexually. And
hot.
But very juicy and hot. Like, she got really wet, and like older women just showing you what to do, just like out of a movie kind of thing. And you're like, whoa, I want to. So you kind of seek that out. You want that. And actually, porn gave me that, because it was like girls who really know how to throw it down, and MILFs. So when MILFs became popular, I went crazy. I was like, okay,
that's a trip.
Dude.
So before that, you get out of high school and You're looking for a career?
No, I actually got out of high school and I got drafted by a junior college in Palm Desert called
Whoa.
College of the Desert. So I
Really?
actually went to Palm Desert,
Drafted?
California, out of high school because it's a 2-year college, 2-year junior college at prep. It's a prep school for maybe Irvine, who knows. I was thinking maybe UCLA or it's a decent school that can possibly give you a shot at playing ball somewhere.
Oh, because your ball playing skills.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
They gave me. I got letters from a few different schools, lower like probably A B division schools, but playing ball is playing ball. So College of the Desert Roadrunners, I went there, played ball. It was good for a minute. I got injured. That's when I really started to focus on the nursing thing.
Oh, yeah, what happened? Your knee, you said, or?
I got hit in the eye with a pencil. Stupid.
What?
Hit in the eye with a pencil.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's one of my friends from New Jersey. I was rooming with him my first year in junior college, and I remember this after the season. We were all going home for Christmas break, and we just got back from shopping at the local swap meet, getting stuff to take home. So it's nighttime. It's like you're sitting here, and I walk into the room, and you throw a pencil at me. Hey, Dre, and you throw a pencil at me, and I see it coming, but I duck, but I can't get out of the way, so it hits me. Long story short, the next morning I have to go in for emergency surgery to save my retina, and it saved it because I still see pretty good out of it now, but there's scar tissue there, and so that long story short, can't play ball, you can't do anything sports wise when you injure your eyes because your eyes move with everything you do. So I went back home that December with a patch over my eye, and my mom was going, "Look, I let you go, away for one. The first time I let you go away for one semester, and this is what happens to you." So, and she goes, "Well, at least you want to go into nursing, so you can focus on that." Because I couldn't even run track anymore because you run and your eyes go up and down. I didn't realize that.
Really?
You're.
I didn't know that.
So it was no sports for like a while. So I just focused on nursing, and actually I focused on nursing, and I wasn't supposed to, but I started to dance a little bit more. That was kind of fun too, because I met the school choreographer. Her name was Julie Andrews, believe it or not.
Oh, wow, really? How'd she look?
Got good. She was hot. Hotter.
White girl?
No, Indian. She was Indian, like Samoan
With
or
that
something.
name, Julie Andrews, she's an Indian? Wow.
Samoan.
Like a Native American Indian?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Legs
Nice,
for
huh?
days. Nice, dark, long hair. Dance instructor. So just.
Body.
Then she found out, because what happened was I went during school. She was saying, "Hey, come in. I teach these disco classes." Well, hey, I know disco from New York. You don't know disco.
Yeah,
So
70s.
I went.
John Travolta.
Yeah, I went in there, and so we started. She goes, "Oh, you dance?" I go, "Yeah, I dance a little bit." She puts on Saturday Night Fever. We do a little fucking dance. She goes, "Oh yeah, so I got this idea. I want to teach classes on the side. Would you want to do that with me?" We started a fucking little thing where I was her partner, teaching 40, 50, 60-year-old people how to do the hustle.
Oh, okay.
And then we take them out to a club that just closed in Palm Springs called Zelda's Nightclub. It was the first club I DJ'd at in California. I was the only brother DJing there ever.
So it's in a white neighborhood?
Not white neighborhood, but it was a resort town. So
Yeah,
you
Palm
had people from
Springs.
all over, movie stars, everybody coming there. And to have a person like myself spinning and loving music, but again, we were breaking color lines there because they hadn't had a black DJ there before. But Zelda's allowed us to branch out and do different things, and allowed me to bring Julie and I would, at the end of like 4 weeks, at the end of a month, we take our group of 5 couples to Zelda's for a night of disco dancing. That'd be like their graduation.
Wow.
So it was fun that way. I always wish I could hit her, but it wasn't happening.
Oh, you hit it? Or you
No,
didn't?
I didn't.
Oh,
I know.
sucks. She was beautiful?
She's just beautiful, and just one of these, just
Why?
a woman. You know, I would probably me. I was just a little too intimidated because she was so good at what she does, and I was,
Wow.
I don't know. I was thinking about the babysitter too. I was like, wow, you know, it could happen because the babysitter, you know, she was down, but it wasn't the same energy. Maybe because I didn't put it out there like that.
So would you say sometimes you were a little shy?
Yeah, because I always want to give women room to breathe and just enjoy them from a distance. But we had a discussion today with a young lady who told us if you look at me more than 3 seconds, 4 seconds,
That's the LA rule now.
yeah, it's the LA rule. I want you to talk to me. So yeah, it's.
So we counted fast. What's the?
I just decided, hey, you know what? This lady is giving me the opportunity to now do something else with dance and getting to know people. Got the DJ job from bringing our people there to dance for graduation at the culmination of their 4-week class, and we did that for about 2 years, and that was fun. And then we stopped, and then I just became a DJ at Zelda's.
So am I tripping out? Did you miss the New York disco because you're out of there quick and then you're like in your prime?
I did. But disco was just starting to hit Palm Springs, so every Friday, Saturday night it would go off, and then I'd be actually before I became a DJ, I would go out every Friday and Saturday night.
How was that? Were you getting a lot of action?
Excellent. Yes and no, but I had a girl that I really wanted to be with, so it didn't matter that I got a lot of action, but I was getting a lot of action. It was great. And that's where I became, you know, like, whoa, you are the guy who belongs in this club because you come here and you get good feedback from the women, from the people, from the owners. So you know, I approached them about a job, and they were like, "Yeah, you know, you can work off nights." So it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the other main guy would come in Friday, Saturday. But then someone else found out about me in Palm Springs, and they wanted me to come work for them on Friday and Saturday. So then I had like 4 days a week, and I had a Friday and Saturday. It was great, and it was more ethnic.
Oh yeah.
More
So
Asians, more blacks,
more
more
down.
Hispanics, more down, dude. They loved it. They back there like,
So-
dude. They call it Saturdays, and they go, Saturdays is very ethnic, and the girls will go, yeah, we want to go. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
so they leave Zelda's and come over there, and it's just completely different. They were starting to get concerned because I draw so many of
Oh, yeah?
the hot people because they wanted a different, especially from LA, Orange County, and they come to Palm Springs. They wanted,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like especially the holiday weekends. Crazy.
Oh, dude.
I used to be there.
Yeah.
Not in those days, a little after, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
86, 87.
Great time.
It was people were cruising in the holidays, right? Badass cars, looking for action. That's what it was back then. Cruising your car, what's up, baby? Let's go.
It's beautiful, man.
Beautiful.
It was, and now they have a lot of hotel resorts and stuff there, like kind of like Vegas. But I think you still can have a good time there, but it really has to be around the holiday season when a lot of people are in town, and they're more willing to, you know, let you have a good time because they know this is where they make their money is during the fall seasons, you know, because it's too hot usually during the desert. I mean, during summer months, and the desert gets really hot. So, Palm Springs is still a good place to go and have a good time.
Is it true? Because they made songs about it. The DJ gets all the action, you know, and the wherever.
I believe it's true. I never did, but the DJ that worked for me did. I should say that worked Friday, Saturday nights at Zelda's. He did because he'd leave the DJ booth to go do a bump or whatever, and then a chick in the bathroom kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I think he had a chick one night give him a BJ in the DJ booth because it was like elevated and the doors closed so she can drop down, and those are the crazy days. People doing a lot of blow and
Yeah.
drinking. It was just
But you didn't get no action.
not be in the DJ booth afterwards. It was pretty much on because it was always an after party. Somebody was having in a great looking palatial house.
Oh,
You'd
yeah.
go there and it's chicks from Canada, chicks from New York, it's chicks from all over. And it's great. And they seen you at the club DJing, so now they want to hang out with. So it's
Little status.
and they bring you gifts. Here, hi, you play this for me, and
Wow.
It's like, man, panties and shit sometimes.
Oh,
It was
really?
pretty interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
See, women.
I never, yeah.
Don't judge a book.
I love, yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you ever get to go to Plato's Retreat back in New York? You missed it? Or
I actually did go to Plato's
Oh.
Retreat.
Oh, you
Because
did?
that was the most interesting one to me. I went there and it was great. It was like a real Asian themed type of thing. An Asian lady came in, we hung out, we had a good time. And it was just too quick.
What is it really? Because I just heard about it. I don't really know.
Yeah,
Swinging club, right?
Swinging club. And you can go choose your partner and hang out with your partner, or you can, if swingers invite you to, hang out with them. It's, you go hang out with them if you choose to. But being, 17, it was like I was nervous, just trying to, find my way around and just want the one-on-one experience. So I sought that out, and it was just, again, it just ended too quick. It was like, whoa, what?
So, it has some action?
Yeah, it had some action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's quick and...
Yeah. Like 30, 40 minutes.
What does the place look like? I mean...
At that time, it was just decked out. It was like this, I want to say like bathhouse with like adjacent rooms. So you had like these two different like bathtub soaking areas, like jacuzzis or whatever, and then adjacent rooms. And rooms you could look through the window and see people having sex.
Really?
And they could tell you to come in or whatever, yeah.
So very voyeuristic.
Mm-hmm. I have a place like that in Vegas. They have a couple places. One's called the Green Door, and the other one's
Right now.
right now. Yeah, it'll come to me.
Huh.
But you can go there with lifestyles and just kind of do your thing, I guess.
Yeah, Plato's Retreat's a real piece of history. Did you know that Freddie was part of it? Yeah, Freddie Lincoln.
That I did not know. Freddie and I go way back too. I did not know. I'm sure he probably mentioned it to me before because he would talk about those days back in New York and then coming out west. So I'm sure he mentioned. I just forgot it because he became my editor later on in life, and we started talking about more. Look where the business has gone, and and his editing of my movies for Evil Angel primarily.
The people change. That's what's the weirdest part. I want to make a quick story.
Mm-hmm.
I read the book about Jesse James,
Mm-hmm.
his biography, but I believe it was an autobiography, but he was already dead, people say. But I don't think he really died then. I think he died years later, 40, 50 years later. Anyways, he says, after the Northfield, Minnesota nightmare, did you ever hear about that? So in 1876, before that they robbed banks or had their crew, the Youngers and the other guys that they all served time with in the Civil War. They were guerrillas under Quantrill's, reign or command. And so they went to Northfield, Minnesota, out of their area, right? A guy there said, oh, there's two banks there, we can rob them. But the thing is that Alan Pinkerton was there, and it got them ready for the James gang in case they came. So they're on time lock safes. In any case, the story is this. They got shot up. Everybody got wrecked except for Jesse and Frank. They made it out. And in the book it says they traveled 20 days, about 14 days without food, any real food, and they were being chased 14 days with bullet holes in them. Which, those are some strong people. Anyways, the Youngers, everybody else, a lot of people died in the streets of Northfield, but the Youngers were done. That was the end of the Younger brothers. They got caught, and that was the end of their real strong connection of a gang. And then they say, in the book, Jesse says, this new generation is no good. They're not, they just want to get a name, be famous. They're not really in it for what you're really in it for, survive and make money. Yeah, they could the Bob Ford, these guys, Charlie Ford, right? And I say to myself, that was 1876, and he's talking that way? That's crazy, because today you say the same thing.
It applies right now.
It's just weird. Anyways, that's just an off-the-wall, out-of-bounds thing, but it has a little relationship to today.
Yeah.
But can you tell me about your nursing? I mean, you go to school in Palm Springs. How does it work out? How is it?
Yeah, I go to school in Palm Springs, and then I decided that, yeah, I'm tired of Palm Springs. I need to see LA finally. So I moved to LA in like 86, 87. And
So you're in Palm Springs for how long?
for from 77 to 85.
85.
Almost, yeah. So
86.
86, somewhere around there.
9 years.
9 years.
Wow.
Long enough to make a name for myself as a DJ and find a course that I wanted to take to LA, which was the medical field, and which I did. So I came to LA, packed my grip, and LA was good to me because I found a job, and
What?
first job was phlebotomy, drawing blood from
Oh, yeah?
people for different tests and stuff.
Didn't you tell me about a job you had back in Palm Springs? It was hot outside. You were shooting gun night or something like that?
Oh yeah, that was during football season. That was actually after football season, because and during the summer, a part-time job would be when school was out was to work for this construction company, and they would make pools, they'd make waterfalls, and so we'd shoot gunite. I learned how to shoot gunite, and I learned how to apply the paste, this ladle thing, and then you just you kind of smooth it out, and you made rock. And I did that for like a year, getting up at like 4 in the morning, working till like 11 o'clock noon, because it get too hot after that. So you learn what hard work is about, because that's hard work, and but you want to earn some money, and you those are the jobs in the desert for young guys. I was 20, 21, and it taught me about work ethic, getting up early, going, but I was off at like 11:30, 12, so I had the rest of the day, and I get a check at the end of the week. It was great. So and it's a lot of construction going on. It's still today in the desert, so even in Vegas as well. But if you want to work, it's there. It's better when you do it when you're younger, but it teaches you what's really hard work and what's not.
Yeah, a little taste of it.
Yeah.
That was enough.
I never did anything like that. I was a bike messenger in Brooklyn for a while when I was going to school there. It was nothing like riding a bike and nothing like carrying fucking bags of cement to a site, to a mixer in the hot sun, and actually early in the morning when it's still cool, it's still fucking treacherous, because it's like 25, 50-pound bags of fucking shit on your back, and you're making these trips back and forth, and then you're sitting there smoothing the shit out, and it's okay, because again, it's a job, and honestly, it paid really well, so that was the other reason. But I said I never want to do that again. Fuck that. But construction, they can have it. No.
I got a funny story. One time I told Mark Anthony, right? I said, hey, why don't you do this and that? He goes, hard work? Forget about it. Anyways.
Yeah.
You can use your brain. Why use your bronze?
Yeah. And that's the thing, too, that I've really appreciated later on in my career, is using my brain instead of my bronze, because let's face it, you can you can't do something physical forever. It comes a time to end that, but you want to end it on your own terms. But you also want to have other things set up so you can gracefully bow out and ride into the sunset and all that good stuff, but still want to have some good sex left over for yourself. So you want to, and I think I've been able to manage to have separate lives. My work life and my work sexual life and my private sexual life have both been good, because I've been able to separate the two, and people go, yeah, how do you do that? Get my book and you'll find out. But it takes some willpower, because people have asked me, so my partner's privately, so is it good for you because you work and this is what you do for a living? This is not what I do for a living. No one's shooting us right now. It's just you and me, and I'm doing shit that I wouldn't do on camera. Trust me, this is completely different. And they get it. They go, wow, that's right. I haven't seen you do that with anyone. And I'm like, yeah, and just a whole different feeling. It's like a release. So I look at, like I say, in football, the game is the best thing. Practice is hell. And that's true. You want to practice, practice, but game is great, you know, because you go out there and you use all your knowledge and skills and you try to beat the shit out of the other guy and win this game. But, you know, it's the same thing with porn, I believe.
Hold on, tell me about that. How you got in there first?
Which one?
In the porn.
Oh,
we want to know because we're still in L.A. now. We're getting closer, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So we're in L.A. 1986.
1986, 85, 86, and working as a nurse. And then like end of 87.
You're still a big porn fan right now.
I'm still a big porn fan. Learning that, okay, it's not like New York. They don't have the live sex shows, but you still, there's a lot of videotape, VHS. There's very big VHS and beta cams and all that. So
started getting really
I got myself a big beta cam and just video. Can you believe, dude? Back in the day, VHSs were $98.99.
Unbelievable.
$100 a tape.
That's what I'm saying. I talked to Frank Koreski. He was killing it back in the day.
He should have. He knows
IVD.
what he was doing. Yeah.
He was buying the tape for $3 or $2.50, selling it for $9 because the TDK was hard to get a hold of in bulk. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Yeah. But then I was like, okay, I have this beta cam, I'm getting all these porn. I'm actually seeing that most of these people and most of the porn is shot out here. So then I start doing like a little side modeling gig, like mainstream modeling. Like you would go to some mall and you see people in a little fashion show, and you'd go to a hotel and you see little runways and stuff like that and luncheons. So I started doing stuff like that, and I actually met Suze Randall, who was shooting some of that stuff.
Wow, really?
Here and there.
So what type of modeling was Suze Randall shooting? Mainstream or?
The modeling I was doing was just like print for like clothing.
Okay. Regular magazines and everything?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And someone said, hey, this, one of the photographers that's there said, hey, you have you ever shot nudity, and you ever shot for any girl magazines and this and that? And I go, no. They actually turned me on. They were like, look, well, they know. She had a spot, I think she still has it too, in Santa Monica somewhere. Her daughter's running it now, but I went to her facility.
She still got that place on the east side of the 405 near Sunset, a little past Sunset?
Yeah. Right. And I remember going to her studio and going, wow, you know, this is some great work. She knew what she was doing with the camera in her hand, obviously.
Beautiful lighting.
And so she goes, look, yeah, you know, let's do this shoot, and you know, if you like it, we could probably do more, just see how you do. And she hooked me up with beautiful starlet. She wasn't even doing porn, she was just doing magazine work. That's how bad this chick was.
Bad.
But yeah, it was great. It was my first
white girl, black girl
layout. It was a blonde girl. But she had a real East Coast vibe about her. And it's still out there these days. You can get it. I want to say it probably came out in 93, 94, 95, somewhere around there. Yeah.
It came out in 93, 94,
yeah.
95?
Yeah, because that's when I was starting to. It would take years for your publications to come out sometimes, because they just have stuff and sit on it, and
or so they got to sell it.
Yeah. So, but I got it more exposure because I started doing more layouts, and then they were like, hey, so
it took time for these shoots to come out? Or some came out right away and others came out later?
Some came out right away, which was like more like, because I started to do actual hardcore layouts then.
This is 86?
This is 87. 87, yeah, because guys who shot just hardcore stills were more prevalent those days, because they shoot a set, take it to a magazine, sell it.
That's great, huh?
Yeah, it was great.
You were totally guided into this, like with kid gloves, smooth. It's amazing.
Yeah, and they saw that I could probably do this, and they didn't know how long I was going to do it, but they thought I could do it. So people just started telling me, because they always want a new guy on the block.
How was it? Just that first hardcore shoot.
It was
not video, but the print.
The print was great in my opinion, because I had good chemistry with my partner, who, yeah, I would see her privately anyway because we were that cool. So it was that kind of chemistry that Suze Randall caught was that you can't substitute that passion and that connectivity.
I mean, you got lucky because that's helpful.
I did get lucky, but Suze knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
So
wow, that's really cool.
that's good to learn. I learned how to put people together from her because she'd be like, yeah, so I had this English voice. What do you like and how do you like it? And da, da, da. I have this beautiful lass, and she's like, oh man, what?
Yeah, Suze Randall's a strong woman. She's kind of like a Nazi or something like that, but she's English.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and living in a man's world as a photographer, but being so dominantly strong was also the thing I liked. You know, here's a woman expressing her sexuality. She's just as raunchy as any dude that I know. This is great, you know. But she does it in such an elegant way.
It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible you got that opportunity to have someone like her kind of guide you down the street. So it's just unbelievable. So the girls, so you do, how many hardcore shoots do you do?
Probably like 4 or 5 before I got basically saying people going, oh, you need to go to meet Jim South. I go,
Jim South is the gatekeeper.
He's the gatekeeper.
Everybody needs to know and don't forget. Who is Jim South?
Yeah, everybody needs to know this guy because he is one of the forefathers of our industry who basically said, hey, you know what? And he was always encouraging, you know. You think, well, he's got this southern drawl, you know, he's going to be like this guy from the South. Yeah, again, don't judge a book by its cover because if you can do the job and he'd give you the opportunity to prove whether you could do the job, or he'd tell you, hey, maybe this is not for you. You know, that's good. You need to know that.
Or you would never even get the chance.
You would, yeah, or you'd never even get the chance.
How many people never got the chance?
So many.
So many.
Yeah.
And the fact that you got Suze Randall, right? And the fact you love porn. I mean, you loved it, right?
Yeah, it was like a perfect storm where I was able to meet the people who made what I enjoyed most, but even on a higher level of like Suze Randall, you know, the way she shot stuff was just so, you can see it today, man. It looks so crisp, so clear. You can tell a lot of creativity went into her shoots because she also shoot for Hustler, some of their raunchy stuff, but she'd get a set looking, I mean, it was great stuff that she was creating because it was her creation. And it was working for Hustler. It was working for Penthouse. It was working for Cherry. It was working for everybody she was shooting for.
High Society. Yeah. But I wonder sometimes, Dre, you were telling me earlier you think there's a reason. So let's say, because I just was listening to PT, right? He loved porn. I mean, he loved watching. It was so erotic for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it real possible that our energy, right? Wanting it so bad and loving it. I mean, really loving it. That's what some people don't know. You think, oh, I love it. No, but really, truly, inner being, inner soul, all you got, loving it, magnetized and dragged you right into it. Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, because you just like they say, some people are born to do certain things. I think that's very true. And for the reasons that they do it too. And I know that I was always destined to do this because I love the figures and the creativity of the pornography producer, director, certain styles. Sex does sell and everybody needs it to a certain degree. But the point about porn is it's one of the only true acts that we as humans can look at and go, wow, that's real, and wow, I can relate to that. And those are the two things. It's real and I can relate. And they try to do it with these reality shows and all this, but that stuff is scripted too. Sure, a porn scene is scripted to some degree, but when two people are having a great scene, that's because they've come together and they're or 3 people, or 4 people, or even orgies. 'Cause I love orgies too. We should still
Orgy
shoot
world.
those. Yeah,
No.
yeah. Because
You're in a-
yeah, because they're great and they're great to look at visually.
I love orgies, man. I had great times.
Me too. Me too. And we need to shoot more, in my opinion. But the point is, knowing that, yeah, wow, I'm able to actually have a door to open up for me to do this. And okay, so now the door's open. So what are you going to do? I also started to see some stupid racism come at me. Like, okay, here's one of your first movies, but it's ridiculously racist. And I'm like, and the people that are shooting it were like, oh, well, it's a racist movie, but it's funny. It's about every race. You're cracking on every race. And the movie's called Black Mariah. Look it up. You'll see what I'm saying. Anyway, I decided not to do the movie because...
This is your first movie? Or
No, this is like my 5th, 6th movie in.
Wow.
My first movie was for Jim Talmadge. Remember him?
Whoa. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Uncle.
You want to know? Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know why?
Uncle Roy.
You know why?
Why?
Because that's Jim's guy. That's Jim's production.
Right.
And Jim hooked you up.
He did.
Guess what?
What?
Jim Town was the first guy I worked for.
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow, see, we're learning shit right now. This is incredible because, dude, that's who you want for your first scene, is it not? He was so easygoing.
Well, he loved you, but I don't know. I don't think he liked me that much.
Dude, we gotta tell you, my thing was popping too soon, like anybody else, popping too soon. And then they put me with Rachel Ryan. Remember her?
Oh, God.
Dude, I loved her.
Unbelievable. You got lucky.
I did. Again, here I go.
You were lucky.
You know, and the thing about it was, she was, dude.
She is unbelievable. That stuff is so good. That stuff will make you pop early. I mean, it was crazy good. And Michael Keaton was hitting it, right?
Michael Keaton was hitting it. It was all over the tabloids. And here I am in the middle of it, more or less just doing my thing with her on that level of what we do in the adult industry. And I did several scenes with her because she kept requesting me. And it was like, I didn't know what I was doing, but she was teaching me again. Here I go. She was aggressive, but in a nice way. And then she'd get me and she'd dude, if I had to say an all-time great, it would be her because she took the time to go, slow down. This is gonna be good, but I'm gonna make it good. She would go from being motherly to being a naughty super MILF. Oh, I'm just gonna eat you alive, and don't you know? And I'm like, oh my God. And dude, and the thing about it was, because when you're young and when you're new like that on set, and you guys will learn this in my book, that your body wants to, but you know that you can't yet. You can't pop yet, right? And you can't do you. You have to perform now. You have to be a professional. But you know, and they were like, look, I went ahead and popped too soon. My first scene.
I don't blame you.
You know, Jim goes to me. He goes, "Don't worry, kid. Can you do it again?" I go, "Sure." He goes, "Well, you know what? I got some sandwiches in the kitchen. Go have yourself a shower and a sandwich, and we got another scene for you. You can come finish up and do it again." I'm like,
another scene? So that scene was done.
That scene was done.
Let's just go back to Rachel Ryan real quick.
Yeah.
Rachel Ryan, to me, had some magic,
Yes,
right? She
yes.
was like a cat, like, you know, just bringing the heat so quietly. But once she touched you, you were on fire.
Yeah. You know who else was like that?
Who?
Ashley Gear.
Ashley Gear? I mean, she was a great performer, but for me, Rachel Ryan would set me on fire.
Yeah, she did. And until today, I even look up some of our work, and I still like that. That's some of the stuff that I actually, not too much disclosure here, but I like to masturbate still too, but to that kind of stuff, because the energy, there was no, and I see now why fans reach out to me and they go, I like your older stuff. Especially the women, they go, your older stuff was so
real.
Because it's changed, right? Now it's all about flipping people around and, you know, tossing them up and all that. Great. But visually, you cannot replace that chemistry and that's why kissing was so important. Because Jim, going backwards a little bit here, he gave me my first opportunity to travel to Europe because Ray Victory got sick. And he goes, yeah.
The truth is, you know, I already read put that in the question, you know you destroyed him. You took him out. You retired Ray Victory. He was a cool-ass dude, but you retired him.
I did not mean to, because Ray and I met a few times on different sets, here and there. And he was always cool to me, but he was never... We even met in Europe, in Germany, working on a set after time. And he was cooler, but it was like no one ever came to me and go, hey, you know what? This is what you need to do. This is how you need to act. I know these people over here, and this is what you... So those are the things I'm going to provide in my book and in my education to the world on how to do this business properly, because you're dealing with human beings, and you really, really should try and treat people like you want them to treat you, because it works. It really works. It may not seem to work for you right away, but it works because I'm still here and I still have opportunity. That's because of the way I treated people. Yeah, sure, my dick was good. My scenes were good. My scenes are still good. I still enjoy them, but I enjoy more the fact of sharing with people this kind of experience. And because there's so much knowledge and so much stuff that happened over the last, and now it's almost 31 years. I have to take a breath and go, wow, starting where I started with Jim. And
let's go back to Jim.
Yeah.
So tell me about, I don't want to stop you, but I want to hear about Jim.
Well, he was the one who, when he sent me to Talmadge, I have to tell you, I drove by the place 6 or 7 times because I was scared to go in.
Yeah? That's what I want to hear.
I was so scared because am I going to do this?
Oh,
if you do this, you can't take it back. You can't take it back. I go, no. But it's Rachel Ryan. I really didn't know who she was yet. But then when I got on set, I realized who she was. And they told me, and everybody showed me tabloids and stuff. I'm like, what?
6 or 7 times. On the Archwood House? Tell me.
Archwood House.
Unbelievable, huh? 6 or 7 times you drove by and you were shitting your pants.
Finally went in.
Wow.
And I was still shaking when I went in. And then he put me at ease. He was like, yeah, this is one of your first shoot. Yeah. And I go, yeah. He goes, don't worry about it. We got food here. And Rachel's in makeup. And, you go in and say hi to her. And, he taught me, like, okay, if you're going to direct, this is how you need to treat people. Jim Talmadge. Is he still alive?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. God rest his soul, whatever. He was a guy who, again, I was delivered to him. That's why I know I was made to do this business, because I was delivered to people.
You really, from what I'm hearing, Trey, you really were delivered because you really got a beautiful little passage. It's unbelievable. I never heard a story.
I also had the teaching from my mom when the bad stuff came with the good stuff to go, I'm good. I'm not going to do that. And to people who said they were my friends, but they really weren't. Because they wouldn't ask me to do that if they really were. I wouldn't ask you to do something that I wouldn't do. And these people were asking me, and they were, and the people that stayed on, you know them well. To this day, they live in infamy to some degree, not as much, but to some degree, they should have never did that movie because it's still out there and people still refer to it.
So you're saying, so let's say, the first scene you do is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel Ryan.
Rachel Ryan.
You did good.
Yeah,
you were nervous.
I did good. I messed up in the first time because I popped too soon, but I came back and I did I actually worked with her 2 or 3 times, and then each time it got better and better because we became more comfortable with each other.
I worked with her twice, and I wish I worked with her 10 more times because she was unbelievable. But so you did another scene that same day for Jim Talmadge?
No. Yeah, that day I did another scene. 2 scenes.
Fairly close to each other.
Fairly close to each other.
And how'd that go?
The second scene went fine because I calmed myself down. I have to always take that first pop out because back in the day we were doing 2 all the time. It was always 2, was it not? It wasn't one scene. We only made $250 back in the day.
Shit, I didn't get paid that.
I was getting $250.
For your first scene?
The first scene.
You got hooked up, man.
First scene, and then Bill Margot came to me. He goes, because him and Jim are
the same time?
Around the same time, and the guy goes, "You're a new kid on the block, huh?" I go, "Yes, sir. Nice to meet you. I hear a lot about you." "Oh, you work with my wife." I go, "Sure." Viper.
Yep. This is what you needed.
I was like, holy shit.
But aggressive?
MILF.
She was a pretty girl.
She was a pretty girl, but you see, the thing is about a woman, and guys, you have to understand this too. This will be in my book too. You being confident and cocky is such a fine line, because there are women who, again, appearances and from reputation, seemingly they're so overpowering and so overwhelming and so intimidating, but they're not. You just got to be confident, like, okay, how are we going to do this? Communicate that. And that's what, even I was scared out of my pants, because I thought, wow, she's going to fuck the shit out of me. But hey, she's just a woman. She's a woman.
Dre, I don't want to sound crazy, but you accomplished and finished 2 scenes in one day, your first time? That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. And that's what they told me. Jim goes, Talmadge goes, you're going to be okay, kid, in this business. If you'll pop it too soon and you can still do your scenes afterwards and give us the footage we need. It happens all the time, but most guys can't come back and do the other scene because they get too distraught. And even with me, handling him with kid gloves, wouldn't come back.
I mean, that's really.
And then after the scene I did with Viper, though, it taught me that she cared about her sexuality. She cared about keeping me, and that's the other thing. Female performers, or women in general, we want to respect you, and you want the respect, and you deserve the respect, but respect the man's penis too. I mean, respect his hard-on when he develops it for you, meaning that it's a consensual thing. And it's going to be probably a whole chapter on this in my book. Is like, people take hard-ons for granted sometimes.
That's a great phrase. Let's say it again.
Yes, people take hard-ons for granted sometimes because, every woman wants a hard, big cock. And you know what? When you get that cock hard, onset or off, respect it, because it takes a minute to get there. Just like it takes a woman sometimes a minute to have an orgasm. Or other times they just pop off like 10. It's the moment, and it's in the time frame. So
when you got a 12-inch, weapon, what do you expect?
And we were doing it before what Viagra was even thought of.
Come on, we're gonna get to that, right? For sure. That's not. I mean, so remember, Buck. I think Buck said it one time. Mm-hmm. He'd go, "I give this girl a hard one, and she gives it back to me soft."
I never heard that one, but that's great. Buck was a good friend of mine too.
Buck was crazy.
Learned a lot from him too. But yeah, that's a great phrase, because I mean that's the thing. So then he was like, Jim was like, okay, you're gonna do good in this business. You probably assume, but you can still do a scene.
2 scenes. I mean, I want people to understand. You might think you're a stud and all that, but under the hot lights, the heavy pressure, and being your first time, everybody watching, no man. People can't do that. It's very difficult.
That's why I knew I was made for the business, because I was able to do it. And then I became more confident because I was starting to gain momentum. I started to meet people like FM Bradley was really cool to me.
So FM Bradley was still around then?
He was still around then.
But you took him out too.
I actually, I guess the thing is, he was still around to the point where I was like, and that's a down brother, so I'm going to do just like Spike and the guys do, bring him along. So I started doing movies for Chris Brand.
He was a little hood. FM was a little hood.
He was very hood. I love that.
Marshall.
You need that. So I needed that. And I brought him, and he came on, and we did a few things together. But then it was, it was interesting too, because I'm the person that's standoffish. So when I see another person that's kind of standoffish, but actually you don't want to, that's the kind of person you want on your team, recognized game, we saw each other that way, and he was one of the brothers that was like, hey, okay, you can't let these motherfuckers fuck with your money. You got to make sure that they know you mean business. And I was like, okay, now this is the business side I need to hear from a black man in this motherfucker, because it's different from hearing it from anybody else, because he's been here for a minute.
Yeah, he was older.
Yeah. And sure enough, he was right, and I just said no to a few different scenes after that.
Tell me about that.
Because
the fifth scene, right? You said
this is like the 5th or 6th scene where they asked me to do Black Mariah, and I was like, I agreed to do the movie, but I had no idea, because we had the script always a day before, remember?
Yeah, sometimes. Right?
And it was like,
well, if you got a big part, they give it to you.
Yeah, but this is like a 15 to 20 page or 25 page or so, but it was a lot. So we got it the same day, and I knew that they had a reason for that, because usually they get it to you the night before, so you have a chance, especially if you got that much dialogue, a couple of days.
If you're the star, yeah.
Got the script the same day, and I got there and looked at it, and I was going, that's why it's always important to look at shit before you start doing it. And then I saw
big balls. So tell me what it.
Well, I started reading it, and then I just, it was like, this has got to be a joke. I can't say this about other people, other nationalities, and I can't have anyone saying it about me.
But what did it say?
Well, let's put it this way: it was derogatory words that I won't repeat, but they were like N-words, words of just profanity towards every nationality out there, but supposedly in a joking manner, which I saw no joking manner in that. Okay. And you know, the people that continue to stay on the set and do the movie. And to this day, they're like, yeah, I wish they asked me, what do I do? Because I was the up and coming guy. And I was like, I'm leaving. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm leaving. You know, you're an adult, you're 21. You need to make your decision, but if I'm not staying, you got to realize, well, I'm not staying. You're reading the script. You can read. Mm-hmm. So, you know, people stayed. Some people, I don't know whoever else left, but I know the important people stayed because they're on the box cover today.
Oh, the girls. Actually,
it was one girl, two guys that I know that stayed that probably shouldn't have, just because they just should have thought about that one again, because it's just something that you would hope would go away, but it won't, because it's...
Yeah. It's really interesting. You know, you're new, and at this point in time, you just say no. Like, almost like say no, Joyce. Like, you really say no. And that takes big balls.
I was still working as a nurse.
Yeah.
So I had a job. So, and Jim knew I had a job. And then, so then I didn't start to get as much work, because people were like, oh, who does he think he is? You know?
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, cool. And then so for a while, the work was slowed down.
This is, what year is this?
This is like 87, 88.
88, first scenes?
Scenes that, I started to build a name for myself between 86 and 88.
But 88 is when you did the video.
88 is when I started to do, 88 is when I did Rachel Ryan. And I started to do things with Talmadge. I did several scenes with Talmadge. And then I did the thing where, remember down at that hotel, they did like, they were going to do 100 scenes in 2 months or something.
So that was before my time, but that was called the Stallion Shoot.
That's the Stallion Shoot.
Right?
I was on that.
I remember all about it. So that is a hell of a story. Bring it on.
Dude, I couldn't resist. I was like, because they were like, because we'd go down and shoot scenes for them back in the day, just out in the valley, and they'd go, well, yeah, in 2 months we're going to do this big thing. We're going to shoot 100 scenes in a month. And I'm like, what? And sure, they laid it out, dude. They were like, it's going to be this.
Wasn't it on some side of near the Winnetka on the 101, the big building or something like that?
A building that wasn't abandoned, but they were going to do something with it, but they rented the whole fucking building for 2 weeks. And they had everybody that it was anybody in the porn business there, bro.
Tell me how good it was.
It was excellent, because you got to meet all these people. And people coming from all over the country.
Tell me some names. Sorry, tell me some names.
Nina Hartley, Ron Jeremy, Purple Passion.
I love Purple Passion. Hey, Cheryl's her name. What's up?
What's up, show baby? Jeannie Pepper, Hans Moser, bro. One of my favorite too. What's her name? Oh my God.
Carol Cummins.
Carol Cummings was there. Dude, she's just.
So,
oh my God, just so many people that.
Tony Montana
was like a ringleader there. He was running shit. He was, because they had him co-directing shit, because he knew, they knew he had a big personality and he knew his way around the game, and there was new guys that was new like myself, but they wanted me in there. And it was just, I couldn't believe that was just going on. It was like a porn factory. It could have been something if they'd have really done it right.
Man, I heard stories. It was just a big orgy for 2 weeks, 24/7. I missed it.
You'd go from one room to the next, from one floor to the next. This is going on down here, and there's dinner going down here. They had fucking rec rooms, dude. It was great.
How many cameras at one time?
It probably
shooting.
I'd say about 50 cams, beta cams too at that time. 50 beta cams.
Come on.
Big ass.
50 different. No, how many people were shooting at the same? You're saying 50 different cameramen?
Cameramen, because
you got 50, not 50 cameramen.
because you got different floors. I forget how
Wow,
big the
that's
building was,
crazy.
but they had, because they wanted to get as much footage. They were shooting nonstop,
50 cameramen.
dude. PAs, camera people.
You're talking 1,000 scenes or something, right?
They were trying to break the fucking bank.
Oh, tell me more. Yeah, I mean that's crazy.
And it was great. It's a great concept, and they really did try to shoot as much content. And I think they got to like 60 scenes before they had to pull the plug and ran out of money.
60 scenes?
Yeah, 60 scenes of just people, just different.
Yeah, that's all 60 scenes.
Yeah, probably maybe more, but
Because-
I don't think they didn't come close to 100, which is what they wanted.
No, movies you mean, not
Movies,
scenes.
scenes,
All
right.
So
Movies.
they were saying 5 scenes a movie, so 300 scenes they shot. You think?
Right, about 300, 250, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Because you had people doing scenes all the time. It was all the time from like 8 in the morning till midnight, and then from midnight, people, yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah.
Kind of good.
And it was thing because it was like you had your time off, but you could still have someone come shoot a scene if you want.
That when the cameras went off, how fun was it?
Oh, it was a dream come true because you just
Sex.
Yeah, it's sex everywhere, and it was a legal place. You thought because the cops eventually did come in and start to fucking canvas the place. It's like, yeah, you guys got to shut this down. It's like, whoa.
But you're new and this pretty new, and this is
I'm
all
fucking
this sex.
fresh and
And it's
just
so beautiful, and you got Nina Hartley,
Nina Hartley.
You worked with her then?
Shauna McCullough.
Shannon McCall. How was she?
Yeah, I don't think she was there. She was supposed to come there, but I met her later on down the road. Actually went up north to shoot with her.
She married Jay, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
anyways,
Yeah, and
she wouldn't work with me. I guess she was scared. I don't know.
it's Dominique
You're doing
Simone.
rough. Oh no,
Oh my
no,
God.
Dominique Simone.
Yeah.
Really? She was on the Stallion shoot?
I don't know, but she was around that time.
A little bit later.
A little bit later.
I remember we had to bring her up.
She came in when I started working with Chris Mann. She did a lot of the Baby Got Back stuff.
Right,
and-
that's like
yeah.
91
One-ish,
90
yeah.
and a half, yeah.
Yeah. And, she's one of the people that was like, yeah, she helped turn the tide in the business too because she's a beautiful young black woman. And outside Jeannie Pepper, you had a few, but she was, one of the matriarchs coming up with Janet Jackme.
Yeah.
And-
Dominique first, then Janet
Yeah,
Jackme came.
yeah.
Of course, Jeannie Pepper was there.
Yeah. Angel
Purple-
Kelly was there.
Angel Kelly was on the shoot?
Yeah, she was down
Oh,
at
God.
the
Let me-
deal.
That was one of the reasons I got into business.
Angel
'Cause
Kelly.
One night I was watching Load Warriors, I was like, oh my God, what's she doing to me? She's making me crazy, right? And I was already a big porn fan, but I said, I gotta get in. I gotta get in. And it's because of Angel Kelly. She made me crazy one night, you know what I mean? But anyways, I worked for her. I never got to work with her, unfortunately. But she was beautiful, huh?
She's beautiful. She has a great personality. It seemed like
Sweet.
a very caring person. So is Jeannie Pepper.
Jeannie Pepper I worked with. She's cool.
Yeah.
I worked with Pearl Passion. We hung out. She was bomb. She was great. We chilled. But what about Sahara? Did you ever work with Sahara?
I don't think I did work with Sahara.
She looked pretty.
Rio. Not
Vanessa Del Rio?
no, I never worked with her. I met her a few times.
Okay.
But there was another girl, Hispanic girl. What's her name? I want to say Rio something. And Rachel keeps popping in my mind. It'll come to me.
Okay.
But we did a series of scenes together for Chris Mann back in the day. But getting back to Jim too, and my first chance to actually, after the fiasco with Black Mariah, a couple of weeks later, Jim's like, "Hey, I got a gig in Germany." I go, "Germany?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is what year?
This
88
is
or
this
89?
is 89.
The Stallion shoot was in the summer of 89, right before I got in, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Jim hit me up and he goes, "Yeah, I have a gig in Germany." And I go, "I've never been out of the country. I don't know what Germany's like."
It's going to be exciting.
And he goes, "Yeah, Ray couldn't make it or whatever, and you're another guy who I recommended. I just want you to get them. Can you get them to write me a check when you're out there because they owe the money or whatever?" So,
Is that VTO?
video Teresa Orlovsky, Hans Moser's wife, super milf, Polish by natural traits.
Hans Moser's wife?
Yep.
Was Hans Moser with Jeannie Pepper?
He was at one point. No, Hans Moser. You're thinking of Hans Rudelstein.
Rudelstein, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I never met Han Moser, right?
Yeah, no. He was character too, but she she being Teresa Orlowski, she had all of her ducks in a row when they invited me to go to Hanover, Germany. It was myself, Jerry Butler.
He's crazy, huh? He's gone, you know.
I know, God rest his soul, but
He's cool. I like him.
he was cool, but he was way out there, dude. I was like, whoa, I don't want to travel with this dude again because he did some shit on
Oh yeah.
one of the trips that got
Okay.
everybody kicked out of the hotel.
It's all about stories, so please.
Oh man, dude, one of the first trips I take to Germany, we get to stay in one of these, and the hotels in Germany are nice, quaint houses to some degree. The local, so you get this, spacious house, but it's still a house. So anyway, he goes in a room by himself, locks himself inside. And we're like, hey, Jerry, we're going to go get some dinner. Oh, I'm not eating tonight. I'll see you guys later, whatever. So he gets some blow from somewhere. And I guess he gets on these pantyhose and does a whole thing in his room, tears up the room supposedly. And, basically the owners of the hotel was like, yo, you guys can't stay here anymore. There's no more Americans that can stay here. It was that bad. So I was like, after that, can you guys... I want to travel alone. I don't want to travel with the group anymore. They're like, oh, no problem. You can travel alone.
So
because
Jerry Butler.
Who
else? That's it.
That's it. Yeah, he was the only one that went off. Ron Jeremy was on that trip too.
He's a good guy though.
Yeah, you're not gonna, he fall asleep if anything. But Butler was out there, and
too much cocaine, huh?
too much blow and insecurities probably.
Yeah.
But those two can obviously be detrimental to you. So, but from there, I got to know what shooting in Germany and Europe was all about because Teresa, she had a studio, dude, that rivaled most major studios in Hollywood as far as like the sit-down cameras, just the sets, 15 professional sets, 20 professional. No, she had about 10 to 12 of you had to sit on these chairs, for the camera. Studio cameras, were the ones you sit and they roll you around and shit,
All right.
Pretty interesting because I never seen anything on that high level. She had a commissary for people to eat at. She had like a room level of a floor where people can actually have like a dormitory to sleep at. So you go there for 5 days, you make about $5,000, $6,000.
Paying good money. How much you paying per scene?
7, 8.
What? What?
And then you
7, 8 per scene or per day?
Per scene.
Come on.
Per scene.
You're getting paid 7 or 8 per scene? Come on, are you really?
Yeah, because
remember it correctly?
Yeah, because if we did a scene like and you did a scene every day.
One scene a day.
Yeah,
that's all.
That's all. And then you do stills on a Saturday, so you get paid like $250 for the stills.
Wow.
And then you have Saturday night, and then Sunday, and then you can go home on Monday.
7 or 8 a scene. That's great.
I remember coming home with like $5-6 grand in my pocket.
Cash.
Unreported. Shh. So it's it's one of those things where you're exposed to this whole new country. You're thinking it's going to be one way, and it's completely another. I was so welcomed there in Hanover, Germany, and then eventually I got invited to other shoots in Europe. Hey, so if you're going to be in Europe in 2 weeks. Well, in 3 weeks, we're going to have production in Italy. Would you like to come over?
Yes, in 1989, you're already getting international work.
That's the majority of my work was international because I wasn't working back here too much.
Why?
Because I'd rather come over here and make $5,000 than put up with the bullshit back home.
Oh, really? So
I get offered jobs there, but I mean, there would be a job here, job there, job here. I go over here for a week and work part-time as a nurse when I come back. It's much better.
Wow.
Plus, I got to see Europe,
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I filled up a passport on both sides completely one time. I was like, whoa, that's traveling.
That's a lot of Cool places. So
a lot of cool places.
you were telling me earlier that you liked Italy a lot.
Italy was very welcoming to me as well, because that was the second place I went to work in Europe. Was with Joe D'Amato and those people, Cicciolina.
Did you work with her?
I worked with her
Oh yeah.
while she was in Parliament.
She looked wow. Cicciolina was a famous Parliament
Beautiful,
Italian.
yes.
Beautiful. Well, the magazine. When I was a kid, I saw her in a Layout, Hustler, or one of those, right? Or maybe Penthouse. I don't know. And she had in the magazine, it looked like she had a fat one. Was that true? Do you remember?
She does.
So she was sexy as hell.
Sexy as hell.
Good as hell.
In every way possible.
Wow.
The woman you want to, I got lucky. Yeah, lucky. And in Parliament though.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's a big
deal.
Big push.
So that was a big turn on for me too. And
see, you got a lot
remember Moana?
A lot of luck.
Moana Putzi and Baby Putzi.
Yeah, Moana. I remember Moana.
God.
Italian.
Baby
we worked with them up in the Malibu. Remember?
Yeah. Baby
hairy
Putzi.
legs, but whatever. At Howard, whatever.
Yeah, dude. Baby Putzi really took care of me too, because I was having trouble on one of the sets, and she just took me by the hand and just took me over to the side and just said, "Hey, just focus on me, And that's when the thing is came and focus on the chick. Fuck everything else.
Yeah.
How much do you want to fuck this beautiful chick and get paid for it?" And that's when it kind of locked in. It's like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because in Europe, doing orgies and stuff, guys are just different, all over doing scenes and stuff. But when you're American, people are really looking at you. You're like, hey, okay, who's this guy? And he's got a name, and then.
Tell me about that, Rick. Hold on. The people in Europe, the actors, this is 1989, you're saying, or 90, right?
Mm-hmm.
The actors, are they strong as hell?
They're strong. Some of them are not as strong as they'd like to be, which therein lies.
It's normal.
It's normal because you have to understand this is before Viagra or for anything other than ginkgo was out there, horny goat weed. But I mean, the thing is, when you can instill some confidence in a person and they respect you, that can take them a long way. And seemingly that's what I did a lot of the times when people were having issues after I learned how to control myself, because my worst position and the most vulnerable position was reverse cowgirl.
I knew it. That's rough. I'll kill you. Give me reverse.
Wow. I remember once in Italy working for, he always reminded me of a chubby De Niro.
Roberto Malone.
Maloney, but the other dude, he really looks like, God, what's his name? Because he goes, "Oh, Shawn Michaels, you're gonna have a scene with my wife." I go, "Oh shit."
Okay, that's the worst.
He looks like a big time gangster too. I'm like, "Oh, dude, I got. What am I gonna do now?" Pressure.
Pressure's not a joke.
Pressure's no joke. And he looked like one of these dudes were unapproachable, but he's like, "No, you got anything you want to talk about? We can talk about it, no problem." And he goes, "Yeah, I go, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is my worst position." He goes, "Yeah, but we gotta have this position. So if you come too soon, don't worry about it." Sure enough.
Is that what it was?
Sure enough, I came too soon. He goes, "Don't worry, because his wife was so beautiful."
Really?
She just started riding me. I was like, "Oh no."
This is in Europe?
This is in Europe.
All right.
He goes, okay, no problem. Now we cut. We go manja. 3 hours later, you've eaten, you slept. Now you're an animal again.
Wow, that's cool.
That's how because they take that long to eat.
That's the way they do it? Wow.
3 hours for
Really?
lunch, 3 hours for
They're
dinner.
so nice to you. Wow, that's amazing.
I was like, holy shit. So that's where I learned that, okay, more patience with people are important, especially with the Europeans, because they mean, the girls were seemingly really into the scenes, because they don't do, it's different from over here. The girls are really, there's not like, other than VTO at the time, there wasn't many productions going on. So they had a conglomerate on shooting scenes and new people and,
I remember at the Malibu house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up in the hill, right, with Howard. The Italian shoot. I remember we were shooting, the Italians were there, the Italian girls were there, Italian guys.
Right.
And I remember that one girl Barbarella. You remember that girl?
I do remember
she
her.
was pretty as fuck.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen with her. Yeah.
I work with her. You work with her. She was just unbelievable beauty. I was too young to really not appreciate it, but enjoy the scene. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the pressure is messing with your head. But she was beautiful. Moana was there, I think.
Moana, yeah. Putzi, and it's again a different style of woman and
Hairy legs,
but you know,
a real woman.
Real women, and
your type because that's like the one that tutored you.
And I just from there on, I just started to. I went from Italy working on the productions. I'd go to Paris working on a production.
And you're getting paid good money.
You're getting paid good money. I mean, they'd pay your way over. They'd pay your rate. You know, they pay your way home because you got to change the ticket now because you were going to go back on this day and then you're going to go back. So I was always changing tickets.
I didn't go to VTO or Italy because they didn't pay Jim. They wouldn't pay him. So, you know, I boycotted the invites, which, you know, I'd do anything for Jim, but I did want to go to Italy terribly bad.
Sure.
You know, you're a kid. I'm a kid from the desert. Italy, Rome. Whoa, I can go. But, you know, I didn't go. But it must have been cool.
It was. It was very cool. And the people, because we'd go over at different times of year, from summer to fall, you know, you just get a different feel of people. Like in Budapest, it gets so cold there, but the nightlife is so good. Especially when people know you and you and it helps to be connected in these towns because you go there before and you shoot and you get connected with all the guys who know the town and the girls who know the town. And
the same with Rome, or you're in Rome?
Budapest and Prague were my favorite places because I had more connections there, and London.
Well, that's later because
that's later.
Budapest and Prague is like 98.
95, 98.
95, 98.
When I started to do the world sex tours with Anabolic, yeah.
That's a trip. So I remember the first time I met you.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The first time we met was on a VE shoot. VE exclusives.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Remember those places were unbelievable for me.
I do.
But you were sitting there with your Walkman, listening to music, mind your own business. And then, I don't know, you said, boy, that name, TTBoy, sound like you're straight from the motherfucking hood. Excuse my language, but, you know, I was like, I'm Troy the Boy, right?
All right.
But I remember that first day. It was probably in the beginning of '90. I said, "This guy's really nice." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was really nice to meet you, and
right.
And, you know,
genuine people. It was nice because you meet so many people. You really start to feel energy from the right people. I think, you know. Yeah. So it was, and then you realize, wow, these people. There are people going to probably be here for a minute. And you definitely were there for a minute because you had everybody. Dude, how many scenes were you doing in a week? It was crazy. Julie and I would talk about, this cat is doing so many scenes a day, let alone a month. You're working every day a month almost.
I used to put in 25 days a month pretty much and do about 2 to 4 scenes a day. You know, day in, day out.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
It was like nothing to me. I just was a young kid, just so happy to be accepted into the beautiful world of a dream.
Right.
So I remember at VE exclusives, right? Tell me, do you remember like some of the girls saying, "Hey, want to meet me in the back room or in the bathroom?"
There were a lot of fluffers, and they wanted to be there. So yeah. I do remember that because fluffing was a big deal back in the day. And girls who just wanted to be on set were a big deal.
Well, girls just wanted to have fun. I mean, I was having fun all over the place. Not to mention doing 2 or 3 scenes a day at that place, 4 scenes a day maybe sometimes, but the girls want to have fun. And then there's this one girl, I want to know if you remember her. Her name was Nikki. I can't remember her last name.
I do remember Nikki.
State's name.
Yes.
But her little puppy was there. Do you remember that puppy?
I do.
What was the puppy doing?
I can't remember what the puppy was doing.
The puppy was taking care of her with her under her dress. Right there in front of everybody.
That I don't remember.
Right?
Wow.
She's like a biker chick, but it's kind of like a new wave kind of.
Yeah. I remember.
Right? A little short, small, but nasty, right?
Yeah.
I think you work with her, of course.
I did. Yeah, she was. Oof, I didn't know she did that though.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? You're in my book working with her, right? The dog is puppy's there first, but anyways. But that was crazy.
That's funny. That's funny.
Is there ever a time, probably in your, in the beginning, where you pinched yourself and you said, "Whoa, I'm really here in the movies working with stars," or because I want to know what star you work with, but I'm really here. I'm really doing it,
Right.
and I'm doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Did that ever happen?
It did with. It happened with a couple times. First was with Gina Fine, because Gina Fine was Gina Fine.
She's another MILF teacher. Wild cat.
This is the kind of woman that you want.
She's cool.
You want to get into porn for because she's real about it. Sexuality is another level, and you can learn a lot from her. But that's when she's requesting me time and time again.
Really?
And when most of the top girls are starting to request me now, that's when I realize, okay, you can do okay here. Everybody's requesting you, from Gonzo to features.
That's what I was wondering. To me, right? When I'm thinking about Shawn Michaels, I'm saying, here's a good-looking, strong guy, so well-spoken, so nice, big, giant tool. How could the people not just kiss your ass 24/7 to get you to work on their shoot? In those days, especially.
Especially, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
How did you see it?
They did. People actually really started to treat me well after I started to work in Europe more, because I didn't need to work here in the States. So when I came to the States, it was more like, okay, so I'm in the scene, but who's directing? And I started to seek out directing gigs.
I saw that. That's
Christian's the one who gave me one of my first opportunities. Christian Man. Video team.
Yeah, so yeah, I saw you hustling pretty damn quick. I mean, when I reflect back.
Right, yeah.
And you put me in one of those movies, Boys in the Hood or whatever.
Girls in the Hood. It's a classic, dude. It's still a classic.
Who did I work with? Did I work with Charisma or somebody?
Charisma, I think you did.
I think I worked with
Charisma, yeah.
I think so. She was pretty. It looked like she was Puerto Rican or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Morena. So I mean, the people are like, you're looking for directing gigs, but I mean, you're a performer with a big giant one. Dre, that you really can perform. I know Ray Victor was cool, but he couldn't perform like you, right?
We had different styles, but I think the thing about me that separated us is what I took on different personas with my scenes. Sometimes I would be one way, and sometimes it'd be another, and people never knew what to expect. So they knew they were going to get a good scene, but when you can keep your co-worker or your partner off balance a little bit, it's good, because then they don't know what to expect. Like, you don't necessarily start out with BJ head. You just do different things. You talk to the woman differently. A lot more floor play, and
yeah, but you're a real. I can understand that. That's your style, but Dre, you could perform.
I liked it.
You were a good performer. I mean,
I worked out to perform sometimes.
Ray Victor was not as good as performer as you.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So they must have been like, this guy can really perform. You have every single thing you need. So I would just see you as like, and to top it off, you were so smooth with the white girls. Tell me about it, because people don't even know. Yeah. They have no clue.
Yeah.
Around 90 to 98 or something, right? The girls were still very racist. We're not saying they're not racist now, but real more racist. So than, not everyone, but I would say probably 50%.
Yeah.
I would say, what do you think?
I'd say 55%.
55%.
Because even the girls who weren't necessarily racist were taught a racist mentality coming into the business, simply because, well, it was either through jealousy, through, well, yeah, IR wasn't doing good, so they gave the women so many reasons for not wanting to work with brothers, and it backfired on him because
With
IR, yeah,
No, I mean it backfired later, but it backfired period because your game was so tight.
because yeah, it's trying to make a woman feels comfortable, especially on set where she's gonna be, wow, she's gonna be so vulnerable and naked and fucking in front of strangers. You got to take that away from her and give her something else. And I was able to do that because I care about my partner. I want her to be as comfortable as she can be, and uh, she knows that. So right off the bat, she's more relaxed. And a lot of women want to be treated like they're in their own bedroom. So you gotta somehow find out how to make them feel more comfortable with all these strangers around you. And I've been able to do that. And also, people, that's the other thing too. Even if you have a big tool and you know how to use it, more women are gonna really say, oh, you know, I can work with this guy. I want to work with this guy. You know, he's not gonna kill me. He's good for my name. Let's do it. So I would get more people saying yes to me than saying no. So it's still a thing today where people are.
Still, but not like it was.
Yeah, back in the day, it was crazy.
The magic I seen you do, you know, I mean, you're like a magician. You could take these girls, and by the time you're done talking to them, you were their boyfriend. Pretty much. I mean, before the scene even started.
Yeah.
So you're like magical. I don't think anybody could ever do this, period. I don't care how much enthusiasm, hey, boo, bah, boo, are you going to do this, make that? No. You were so smooth and so perfect with it that it was like a sight to be seen, for sure.
And it still feels organic because now people know my style. They know who I am. They know the brand. So it's a lot easier now because they already know coming in what they're looking for and how they want to get it.
The girls loved you anyways. I mean, the truth, you know what I mean? I've never heard anything negative ever about you.
Have you worked with Ashton Gear before?
Of course.
So she's another one.
She's a wild animal. Right, she's great. I mean, she was pretty. She is really, really, she was great. She was a great performer. You know what I mean? And she's a very nice person. She was great, yeah. Totally. One of the best for sure. So that brings me back to something. All right, you're in the business, but before you were in the business, what girls did you see on the screen? What girls that blew you away? You said Linda Lovelace earlier, but you know, what other girls?
You remember Anne Margaret?
Anne Margaret, the redhead from Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was one of the first people I saw that really got me going and going, wow, you know, check out some of these hot ass women in Hollywood. And some of them are freaks. And so, you know, Jada Pinkett is another one who I really enjoy looking at and watching her work. And I hear that she's a fan of my work too. So
yeah, she looked like she would be a fun spinner.
Yeah, spinner. Oh my God.
So I even had a fat one. I think she said that one day. But I'm talking about the girls in the adult business. Which girls?
In the business.
Which actresses? The late 70s, you know, when you're watching, the 80s, before you're in the business, which girls, which stars blew you away?
I would say there was a few girls, and the stars that I saw the most was Laurel Canyon with Ray Victory. She was one of.
She was good.
Wow. Just because her and Ray had good chemistry, you know.
You love the blondes too.
And I love the blondes too, but she was like built. She had an athletic body. Another person I saw was Shauna McCullough, and she was just
pretty,
man. Milky white skin, red hair, just.
She had a fat one too, huh?
Wow, you know, just.
It was cool. I mean, I didn't work with her, but she looked sexy for sure.
Stagliano was dating this girl too. Her name was Christy Lynn.
Yeah, big butt.
Yeah, just
liked her.
Oh, I love that. I tried to date her a little bit too.
Oh, yeah. She was a pretty cool chick. She got in a car accident. It was a shame.
It was.
She was a nice girl. I worked with her a few times.
Janet Jackme was another person that had me on tilt.
But she was on when you came.
She was on when I came. True, right.
She was. I mean, I want to say one thing about Janet Jackme. one word. It's hard to describe. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, amazing, insane, beautiful. I'm only supposed to say one word, but Janet Jackman, we love you.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Come hit me up.
I love you, Janet. And of course, Nina, I was watching her do her thing. But who really blows me away is Kay Parker.
Really?
Remember her?
Yeah, she
From
was
Taboo?
at Bill Marigold's funeral. You weren't there.
I wasn't there.
That's a shame. What happened?
I don't know. Some person.
He was a wonderful guy, huh?
He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah. God rest him. Hope he's resting in peace. But Kay Parker, I'm pretty sure Kay Parker was there. She had the big breast, dark hair. But yeah, she was older, obviously. But she seemed pretty cool. But I think that she was only in it for a small amount of time.
Yeah, she was in it for a very long time.
Yeah.
But those are some of the people I was watching.
It's like the women. You like women. You're not, yeah.
They were real. I mean, they were, what's this other girl's name? Constance Money.
Oh, I remember her a little bit. The name I remember.
Yeah, she was in a movie with Annette Haven called Barbara Broadcast.
Oh, yeah?
Where it was this restaurant. It was just serving up sex all over the restaurant. It was crazy. It was like, actual regular restaurant. And they were like,
oh, really?
It was great.
Annette Haven was a beautiful girl?
Annette Haven was a beautiful, beautiful woman, in my opinion. Bridget Mayer, who is a French actress who came over and did some stuff here. And of course, Marilyn Chambers, she just, she has a smaller frame, petite kind of body, but just was so into what she was doing, was just like, okay, now these are the women that you see, and it's real bushes, just a different time. So I got exposed to, women who really did the business a justice,
What about Ginger Lynn, Portia Lynn, Amber Lynn, Candy Evans, Danielle, Lily Marlene?
Oh, yeah. I have to say, out of that group you just mentioned,
Nina DePonca.
Ginger Lynn and I have had it was just a good chemistry thing happening there.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, she's just, you look at her and you just have this thing and it's like, wow, here's the energy that I really enjoy being around, and it's mutual. So it's.
So you worked with her?
Mm-hmm.
How many times?
Like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't get to work with her.
Yeah.
I mean, Al, Peter North said that she was unbelievable.
Yeah.
She was still pretty good then.
She was very good then, and even like a few years back, she was still doing some scenes here and there, and I did a scene with her. She was even better because she's just, when they get older, they get a little more juicier and a little more into it.
You know who was another nice girl? Christy Kane's pretty cool.
Wow, yeah.
She's a woman.
She's a real woman. Ron Vogel's daughter, Alexa, and we all hung out one night, just had some drinks and stuff. So I really got to know both of them, away from work. It was nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So it went on, huh? Of course, we don't talk, right?
No.
We don't kiss and tell.
Yeah.
She's a great, nice person. So what directors have influenced you as far as porn directors?
Ooh, Alex Terenzi right off the bat, because he did a movie called Pretty Peaches before I got into business way back in the day. It was just like, whoa.
Really? Pretty
good.
This
guy, yeah, his vision was like, he was more about the eroticism of you being sucked into his movie. And
we used to go out there to Frisco all the time. He was great, right? I loved him.
So great. Dude, that was one of the best times in the business, because all the guys got together, all the chicks.
That was great.
He just went up to his house. His wife would barbecue out back.
Or the hotels we'd stay at. Sometimes after the shoots, we go back to the hotel. What would happen then?
Oh, man, it would really be on then.
Woo!
Just don't give me an early call time tomorrow.
It was great, right? Catherine, remember Catherine?
Oh, man.
We
still keep in contact with each other on
really?
Facebook.
I want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Catherine, I guess, used to say that Alex would say, if TT's not here, I'm not shooting. Something crazy. That was so nice of him to say something so complimentary.
Yeah.
You could hear.
Hey, he loved you, man, and definitely understood having you there amongst Tommy, Al, me, you, Rocco, Mark was
John Doe sometimes.
John Doe on occasion.
Yeah, it was great.
Wow, that was a great time.
It was great, right?
Just flashback on that right now.
Beautiful. I mean, Frisk. It was just. We would be in the city sometimes. Sometimes we'd be in Novato. Sometimes we'd be at his house. But it was a lot of trips, good money, great times, great girls, and he loved the real hot sex. So he really wanted you to bring it.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't playing around. Mm-mm. And then sometimes he would tell the new guys, they give a new guy a try, get that lip noodle out of here, or get it up or get it out of here. Right? Remember?
Yeah.
He wasn't playing around.
That's why, you really have to be mentally prepared to do your job because, you never know what you're going to run into, but you can't let it throw you off.
No, he was great, though. It was beautiful. What a beautiful time. Huh?
Always had our back and just made you feel like at home. It was like a vacation almost.
It was. We got out of town for a little bit.
They'd pick us up in a limo. And
sometimes, right? It was like...
It's great.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, with those times, I want to ask you later, but for me, they'll never be replaced.
Mm-mm.
Like you can't recreate them.
Because it's a time in the industry where he was doing something different. No one else was doing that, except you were going out of the country. But here in the States, it was him. He had he was
great.
Monopoly on that. And people wanted to go up and shoot for him. Everybody's talking about going up and shoot for Alex. I'm going up and shoot for Alex.
He didn't let everybody come because he's a real guy from the real days.
Yeah.
And if somebody thinks they're going up there to work with Alex Dorenzi, he's not accepting applications for beginners.
Right.
I mean, he doesn't, unless it's in a big gangbang, maybe. But otherwise, if you think you're going to be one of the main anchor guys, forget about it, unless you are really King Kong. Let's face it, right? You have to be a real person. Only the best went to hang out with Alex Dorenzi. Yep. And if you were accepted for a temporary basis and you didn't perform correctly,
you ain't coming back.
You're done. And a lot of people never came back.
And it gets around. Oh yeah, well they didn't work out too well. Well, it doesn't. It's not for everybody,
Who was the other directors that you liked?
Well, actually, Suze Randall was another director of sorts because, directing people throughout her shoots, she had a way with them, her English accent, and being a woman because not too many women were in her space. And I was like, okay, well, I can learn. Plus, we had a chemistry. She knew what I liked, and she knew because she put me with some fabulous-looking women.
She got you started.
Yeah, she did. She really did. And so, therefore, she definitely is one of the directors where I took notes from and said, okay, now, this is some of the way that you want to go about connecting with your talent as a director because you get the most out of them that way. And now, as a performer all these years, I know how to get even more out of, especially the guys, and how to make them feel more comfortable on or off set because it's all mental. It really is. Once you really, at the end of the day, think about, okay, well, you guys were doing this before there was Viagra, so what were you thinking about? What do you think we were thinking about? You get trained and you train your mind, your body to act accordingly. But away from that, you like you said, mentioned it before, all the fluffing that went on. People don't fluff anymore.
No, I never saw any fluffers on my set, but I remember that VE was just a lot of girls want to have fun. It was great. That's what I remember. But what other directors? There's some great ones out there.
Yeah.
PT
is
John Leslie,
director that I enjoyed. John Leslie gave me one of my first big shoots here. I was in Italy. I remember he hired me to work on a set when I came back in the States. And I was really nervous about working for him because I just worked for Mario and had a successful trip, but came too soon with his
Oh,
wife.
shit.
So here I go. I'm going to be working with
reverse cowgirl.
Sherry Taylor.
Oh, shit, because I saw her in the magazines, right? And I was like, oh, my God, she looked so great. She had a big fat one, and I was dying, but she slipped out right before I even thought could get a chance to work with her. But tell me about Sherry Taylor.
She was a dream. She's like a Marilyn Monroe type chick that you actually get to fucking pretty. And she gets into it. And she really's into, you know, dark-skinned dudes.
No
and
shit.
Black dick. And I was like, whoa. Her and Nina were just... And Nina was on that shoot, too. Joey was on that shoot. But I remember getting the script sent to me, and I printed it out in Italy and started reading it because it was in Bodega Bay when I got back. So I think I flew into San Francisco, and then from San Francisco went to Bodega Bay. Oh. But John, just working for him in a fucking movie, was like on a mainstream set. It was like, who is this dude? But he was so filled with naughtiness and debauchery too at the same time. And you could tell him and Joey had a good relationship too. So I got exposed to quite a bit. I was nervous about my lines, but till that day, Oh What a Night is still selling. Yeah. To this day, dude. That was like 93. Really? And so, but Sherry Taylor was just
93. Sure, you sure it wasn't a little earlier?
It's probably earlier.
90 or 91.
I think it's 90, 91.
Yeah.
Because that's the first time I went to Italy too. Yeah. Yeah. But it was something that, you know, people, you can look at that scene and you can see, well, yeah, you know, this is early on in people's careers, but the energy was, you were there for the right reasons because you could see people enjoyed themselves. You know, it wasn't fake. It wasn't because some directors tell a girl, okay, you can moan more now, you can do this more now, and these girls just kind of say, you know, I'm gonna fuck you like, you know, we're fucking at home or kind of thing, and it's, you feel that. And then once you learn how to block out everything else to a certain degree, you're somewhat bulletproof of people fucking with your head, you know, on set, because it doesn't matter. Because as a performer, we've been stepped on, had lights dropped on us, we've had so many things happen on a set. But then we got to come back and finish the scene, and we do. And I even have male performers going, dude, how do you do that? And I go, what? He goes, how are you able to come when it's right on cue? And I go, because most of the time I'm just fucking on the edge. So, and I am, so I got to kind of.
It's like a movie. Like, I'm on the edge.
I'm on the edge, you know, and yeah, sometimes people can mess with that flow because, oh, we got to cut, we got to do this. And so I just got to that's a part of being a performer, to get it back and finish the scene strong. So, you know, that's what you learn to do from like 86 to 95. I was learning Took time because every woman's different. Every set is different. Every director's different.
Yeah, it's like I would kind of compare it to maybe you're an amateur boxer, right? And you're like 10 years old and you start fighting your way up. And by the time you're 18, you're ready to be pro, but you had all the experience, all the different situations that now you can handle whoever comes at you. Right. Pretty much.
Exactly. And getting back to directors, Joe D'Amato, he directed, you know, mainstream movies in Italy. We had a great relationship with him because he was more like a father figure than anyone, because he really would sit you down and talk to you about the script and talk to you about your character and how much he just wants you to enjoy your scene and how lovely the girl was you're going to be fucking. And it was just such a different vibe of setting you up to do your scene.
So he might give you a vibe a little bit like PT maybe.
Yeah.
PT love.
Yeah.
No, PT seemed like not much pressure with PT.
Exactly.
You get that feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I did a movie called Lifeguard with Jennifer Stewart. She was another one that was like, oh my God.
Pretty, yeah. Blonde, tall, strong.
And loved
pretty
brothers. It was like, oh man.
Oh yeah.
And PT knew it because he knew he was going to see sparks. So it was one of those things. And it was great because, again, you know, learning from seeing how much he got into the scene, wanted the scene to be comfortable, and wanted to relax you. He, like you say, he's one of
It was like no pressure.
no pressure.
I felt a lot of pressure from John Leslie. You know, even though he was super cool,
Yeah.
he had some type of energy that
Yeah,
you felt something.
I did feel pressure from him because I wanted to do such a good job for him.
Yeah, he was great.
And
person.
he at the time he was nobody could touch his movies. You know, he was a guy, and Kathleen and I still talk about it sometimes too, what kind of effect he had on the talent.
I mean, he was. We don't want to get it twisted. John Leslie was an unbelievable man.
Mm-hmm.
He was great, but he had a strong power to
He
him.
had a strong presence about him that if you know didn't quite get him or understand, you would be a little intimidated. But once and he always made you feel like, hey, you know, you're a part of the group, part of the family, but again, you know, it's just kind of a tough love thing, and it works. It used to work for him.
I wonder how many people couldn't handle the pressure from him.
Mm-hmm.
Must have been some.
Must have been, because he only worked with certain types of guys on a regular basis.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Hey, I remember your place over at Fountain, apartment over Fountain Street in Hollywood, right? We used to go hang out there. And you used to have parties there all the time.
All the time.
Right?
It was one of the best parties.
I remember one time you had a party, Chris Rock was there.
Yeah, it was a Halloween party.
Yeah.
And being right in the middle of Hollywood, you know, you're accessible to all the stars and stuff. And just starting to come up in the business, people heard, wow, there's a, you know, porn dude having a porn party over. I was living on Alta Vista between Fountain and Sunset.
Right, Alta Vista, right?
Yeah.
Fountain, yeah, right.
A great apartment complex. A few people from the business lived there. And it was just a great place for a party. So I would throw, and it was mostly Halloween parties and just parties. Impromptu parties. But the Halloween parties, I remember that's where some celebrities showed up and people were really starting to let their hair down and have a good time. And people got a thing was like, hey, man, you should do these parties in Vegas. And I never thought about it until like years later. But
You always threw good parties.
Because I wanted a place where we as a industry people could feel comfortable to go and have a good time without being, you know.
I never forgot. I said, hey, Chris Rock, I said, you're pretty funny. He's like, what are you looking at, white boy, right? I'm like, what? No, he didn't say it, but he's like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. I was like, come on, man. What's up, man? This TTBoy.
Yeah, right.
Don't even play with me because I'm from the streets, too. Anyway, and then remember one name that stands out to me. They kept trying to get me to go out with her, but I was with Dominique. Was Kitty Rosinski.
That's right. I remember her. Kitty Rosinski.
Is that her real name? That's probably her real name.
That's her real name.
And what's her stage name?
What was her stage name? It'll come to me. But yeah, she was always after you, and we had a lot of girls after you, though, you know.
Yeah.
But that was good because, I mean, you know, you do your scene and you have people know that you're reliable, and people want to work with a person like that, you know. They don't want to be waiting around for a guy to get a hard on or, you know, take forever to come or whatever, so.
And then I remember the first day you told me, hey, there's this pretty cute black girl. Because, you know, I was always chasing the black girls. He said, here's a picture. I go, oh, yeah, where can I get her? Where can I meet her, right? And then out of the blue, like I think 3, 4, 5 weeks later, I'm working with her on a set, right? I mean, we used to shoot in Pasadena. We were with Patricia Kennedy there one time at one house. Anyways, it was Dominique. And needless to say, Dominique, you said she was pretty nice, hot. She started my apartment complex on fire. Or hers, actually. The whole building on fire. Threw all my clothes on her. She got pissed.
I didn't know that.
She was, oh, yeah. And even more. One day she got a little crazy with the razor. But that's for another story.
Right.
Anyways, but I liked her. She was cool, but a little crazy.
Hey, it's always fair in love and war, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you worked with her a couple times?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. After the not doing the Black Mariah movie, we got booked to work on some other things for Christian too. So, yeah.
She was a good performer.
Yeah, and Christian loved black women too, so he was really apt to giving her an opportunity to do different things and bring in other girls, black girls specifically, who had, some promise and wanted to do some good things.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah.